Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saturn Slam Review. Right on time, on the money. That is how we do it. Once in a blue moon.
Yes. We're back, and we're here to stay until we go away. It's like the McRib. When there's just a surplus of wrestling shows, they finally... the Slam Board of America recommends that... I don't know where it's going. I would segue my name into McDonald's, but I don't want anything to do with that.
No.
I had their like slathered chicken tenders once. It's the grossest meal I ever had.
I had their cheesy bacon fries when they were pushing that. Those weren't very good. And I'm in an eternal feud with them because they raised the price of the McChicken to $1.49, which is just bullshit.
$1.
$1.
It's like when
it gotta cost.
Like Coke got into a weird ass snafu back in the 1800s where they agreed somehow to sell their Coke for like 5 cents or like 10 cents, and it was like a weird devil deal. Where it just couldn't raise, so it couldn't match inflation at all. So they had to sell Coke for 10 cents to like the 50s or some shit.
That's amazing. Corporate greed, much like the finest Kona Reeves here, who this is actually a match that aired this week, wrestled Keith Lee, returning from injury, and it was a match. I was actually, you know what? This is probably the best Kona Reeves match I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is where I see what the scouts may have seen in Kona Reeves when they pulled him in. They're like, this is what he could become.
He's starting to develop, much like the Street Profits. It wasn't until their match before Takeover New York, and particularly Angelo Dawkins. I was always impressed with Montez Ford because how can you not be? But I never saw much of Angelo Dawkins until he got the hot tag in that match before TakeOver New York started. And I was like, is he actually developing? And then, they've had some pretty killer matches ever since. So I guess the answer to that was yes. Keith Lee won with the, I guess he's calling it the limit break. It's basically Matanza's Wrath of the Gods super duper power slam from Lucha Underground. It looks fine.
Yeah. I'd say, that was a good finisher, but I don't think that was the part I remember from the match most. It was more that whole spot right at the beginning where Keith Lee just like, I have your hand, and I'm going to play like the fucking bouncy ping pong paddle with you, with your face. It was great, and I clapped.
My favorite part of the match is when Kona Reeves is going for, I guess, a running knee, and Keith Lee just punches his leg, and I was like, no, stop that. That's the greatest counter to a move I've ever seen. Like
I cast fist.
RKO out of a curb stomp? Nah, man. Punch the knee. That's my jam.
I used to be a wrestler like you until I took a punch to the knee.
Fucking Mia Yim beat Bianca Belair again. So I don't know what they're doing with Bianca, but they're pushing Mia Yim. So
okay. Yeah.
It is what it is. She's
time
perfectly serviceable. She's no worse than the current women's champion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what if they just push her all the way up? And it was like, there are two solutions here. Either she becomes the latest in a series of lambs to the slaughter for Shayna Baszler, or she goes all the way up, and it'll be like suddenly, whoa, okay. Oh,
I could see it. Oh, excuse me, my voice cracks. I could see it being. I could see her being the one to dethrone Shayna because they were at one point working that angle where she was the only one, brave enough to stand up to Shayna in the locker room. So I could see, like, for the story, that being the angle they used to take off. I heard a rumor this week, unsubstantiated, that, it's from Dave Meltzer, so there's some substantiation to it. But The scuttlebutt is that the next people they're looking to call up would be Shayna Baszler and Adam Cole. They just put the title on Adam Cole, so I'm sure the Triple H is going to try to get that delayed. I don't know when these call-ups would take place, but their names are on the list right now.
You think within the year?
Yeah, maybe. I could see possibly one or both of them up after SummerSlam.
Okay. I think with the outcomes of that night's matches, which we will continue to discuss as we go on, I think Triple H he'll gun to within maybe the next takeover. It's going to be within the year, probably the next takeover to kind of finish up the move that undisputed arc to its completion before anything happens.
Well, the thing about that rumor that worries me is they just mentioned Adam Cole. They said nothing of the other three guys, and I think it's a mistake to split them up, especially like poor Roderick Strong. Without the Undisputed Era, that guy is going to get lost in the shuffle because he was getting lost in the shuffle down in NXT, where you can just be a good worker without much personality and get over. And it wasn't until he joined the Undisputed Era that it really started to gain much traction. I mean, he peaked, so his career was like he came in, no one really gave a shit. He peaked, he had that nice, really good television title match with Bobby Roode, and then he got lost in the sea of mediocrity, joined the Undisputed Era, and, he's been up since then. But, yeah, I think it's a mistake to break them up. So
maybe
hopefully
port him back over to the UK. I don't know, but that would be, yes, I agree, that would be a bad idea. Because he does very well, like in this match against Matt Riddle today.
Roderick Strong wrestled Matt Riddle, and a match that I told everyone on our show last week, this is probably going to be a really good match, and everyone's going to be like, why didn't we talk about this match more? And I was right.
Sleeper.
Shock of shocks. Yeah, Matt Riddle and Roderick Strong wrestled each other. Wrestled maybe the wrong word. They beat the shit out of each other for about 15 minutes.
Impact heavy, as would be expected from barefoot Mick Six-Pack versus Backbreaker the Guy.
Backbreaker.man. Yeah, they fucking came in here and they hit each other with just about everything they had. Story of the match was that Backbreaker got Riddle pretty damn good, and then he's selling his lower back for much of the rest of the match, to a point where it prevented him from doing a couple spots. And I really thought he went for a lift of some sort later in the match, and he had to put Roddy down and sell his back, and I really thought we were going to see the end of Heartache into the finish there, but that was not to be. They didn't even do the end of Heartache there. I really thought that would have been a very convincing near fall, at least. Maybe they're trying to protect someone's finish.
Who would have thought?
Who would have think? What hearsay is this? Protect a dude's finish? Inconceivable.
Yeah.
But they actually did weirdly not protect, unless this is a new finish for Riddle here. He did not win with the Bro Mission. He attempted the Bro Mission a couple times, but I guess that tweaks your lower back a little bit. Whatever the case may be, he could not apply the Bro Mission in his normal manner, and Roddy was able to sneak out of it. He put him in the stronghold a couple times, which is basically a lion tamer. Put the knee in the middle of the back, which normally it's down at the neck, but given the story of the match, they put it in the back because good storytelling is not a lost art in wrestling.
Exacerbate the lumbar.
Eventually, a lot of fun moves in here. Roddy hit all his backbreakers you'd expect him to hit, and knees and kicks and whatnot. Matt Riddle busted out a bunch of moves. He went for his corkscrew moonsault dealia bob, but Roddy got the knees up. He hit the bro to sleep German suplex combo, And ultimately he won with his I don't know what you call it, kind of like a cradle tombstone, I guess, but it wasn't really a pile driver. It was a slam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you want to call it, but it was what I described.
Yes. It was all as I said. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and some fucking wrestling shit. Yeah.
So help me, Papa H.
Papa H. In the name of the H and the H and the other H.
For that is the kingdom and the power and the glory. Ramen. So yeah, this match was solid fair. I would go 3 3/4 star.
Yeah, 3.5. Yep. It was all there.
Next up we had the ladder match. Now, I am a fan of ladder match craziness, car crash wrestling, all the crazy TLCs from the early 2000s and the mid 2000s. I love that shit. I eat that shit up. That being said, this match was very reckless and I was very uncomfortable and worried at several points during it.
Tighter. Got to tighten it up. I think this is almost an experiment for the upper limit of multi-man matches at the moment. I don't think they'll be returning to this density of wrestlers in the ring for a little bit. War games, you get more space, you get more, stuff's going on, but you don't have ladders in the mix. That was the big one. Like I remember the ones that stuck out to me were like when that ladder fell over and it bounced.
Yeah, there were a lot of questionable decisions in terms of spots. Now, like, this wasn't an insane amount of people in the ring, okay? It was a 4-way tag team match, so you have 8 guys in there at any one time, at most. Most of the time, there's going to be some guys out on the outside. So let's say 3 to 6 in the ring at most. That's less than Money in the Bank. There were 7 guys in Money in the Bank. There were originally supposed to be 8, so same number. There were 8 girls in the Money in the Bank, and they miraculously didn't kill anyone. So, like, it's not unprecedented. However, what was unprecedented is the sheer stupidity of spots they tried. Poor Kyle O'Reilly. I have no idea how this fucker's alive. And then at the end, Bobby Fish was the one in the sling. What did he get hurt on? Like, it's not to say he didn't take any bumps, but fucking Kyle O'Reilly should have been dead 8 times over in this match.
His back was sliced open like he was going to unzip and take his old skin off like a fucking bodysuit. Yeah. Which one was that where he just fell right off the ladder onto another ladder, bounced? And
that spot was nuts. There was also a spot where I believe the Forgotten Sons had a ladder on their shoulders, and they were using it.
No, I swear it was Lorcan and Birch, but maybe it was the Forgotten Sons where they they put their head in the rung.
They had the head in the rung. They were using it as a battering ram. Then Danny Birch and Orny Lorcan went behind them for a double German suplex, and thank Christ they had the sense to throw the ladder off before landing. However, this was not without consequence, because the ladder almost smashed Montez Ford right in the fucking face as he was getting back in the ring. That was crazy, scary spot number 1 that I remember. Not in sequential order. These are not chronological order. These are just in the order of my, wow, that was really fucking dumb. Don't ever do that again. Number 2 was Wesley Blake, who, unsung hero of this match. He's been around for a while, and I didn't realize it until watching him closely in this match that he's pretty good. He's like, I think Scott Dawson said it on Twitter. He's like the Bobby Eaton of NXT, where there's nothing flashy about him. He's not going to excite you, but he's going to make his opponents look really fucking good. And that he did. But he did a dumb when he did a suicide dive right into a ladder that was being carried by either the Undisputed Era or the Street Profits. I don't remember. But he did a suicide dive, smashing right into the ladder, busted his face up a little bit. And then, lastly, there was the time, I think Jackson Riker powerbombed Kyle O'Reilly into the ladder that Bobby Fish was on, and Bobby Fish fell onto Kyle Riley.
Yes. Yep.
In a spot that I am stupefied how no one was mortally wounded or killed.
The fucking Guardian Angels were in the court. They were on the top rope that day.
So yeah, this
was
was
on the turnbuckles.
Reckless.
Yeah, even
spots.
like the highlight spot of the match, which was right before the finale, where they fucking had me. Where so Jackson Riker comes in 3/4 of the way through the match and just sort of does the beat everyone up thing and clears the path for the Forgotten Sons. And they climb up.
Who had been dead on the outside for about 15 minutes.
Yes, they've been taking the fucking like the 12-minute ref nap. Yeah, and they climb up, they get on the ladder, and they're about to get. I'm like, you have 3 right options. This is not the one. This is the none of the above.
There are 3 wonderful options for who you want to put these belts on, and one really, really bad one.
You got Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Trubbish.
One of these is not correct.
But then, from the magical out of frame portal where
descending upon on high,
like it was Sanity at War Games, comes Montez Ford,
channeling his inner Eric Young and just teleporting into the right spot. First off, Angelo Dawkins came, bullied his way into the ring and speared Steve Cutler underneath the ladder, like through it, which could have gone
bad luck.
Yeah, 7 years of bad luck and could have gone very wrong. So I guess that's retroactive until after you've actually passed through the ladder. But yeah, and like Peter said, just the camera's focused on Wesley Blake climbing the ladder. You see him, you see the other side of the ladder, and you kind of see the top turnbuckle from the corner where Montez Ford jumps onto. And then you see this like brief flash of what could be a man, could be a chupacabra, could be some sort of mythical beast. And then just, boom, right in your fucking face, Montez Ford's there with the fucking crazy eyes. And he socks Wesley Blake in the mouth. And Wesley Blake takes the fucking biggest bump of the night off this ladder. Like, it's a fucking cartoon. I compared Montez Ford to a Rubber Hose animated character, and this was a cartoonish bump, like the Wile E. Coyote, falling off of a fucking cliff face here. This was this Wesley Blake bump. And then Street Profits, or Montez Ford, pulls down both belts, and the Street Profits are your NXT Tag Team Champions. They ran out to celebrate in the crowd. There was much rejoicing, and they did a great little vignette on this week's NXT where they gave a shout-out to the cameraman for the WWE.com exclusive. They put him in the camera frame, and he was wearing a Matt Riddle shirt. And they're like, we're going to get you a new shirt. And they walked off. I enjoyed that. I think that they always had the charisma. Like, their vignettes were entertaining. Sometimes got a little on my nerves, and I'm like, maybe we tone it down a little bit. But
I think of a certain ATM.
Yeah.
Early on.
Most of the time, recently at least, they've been fairly entertaining. And their ring work has improved dramatically. And this was really the do-or-die moment for them. If they didn't win the tag team titles here, I don't see where they would have won them. Now they can, I don't think it'll be a long title reign, but, they make history. They're the first black NXT tag team champions. And now we've had a black man wait, no, that's not true. There hasn't been, every men's title has been held by an African-American performer, but I don't think there's been a black women's champion yet. Wait, no, Amber Moon, that's right. So every title has been held by a black person, which is interesting. Little trivia.
Nice. Yeah. And side note, for the duration of their reign, Mauro Ranallo now has carte blanche to yell num num juice, so that's good.
That is, truly, we are all winners on this blessed day.
Just with the intensity. Num num juice.
Num num juice.
Thank you for bringing that lexicon. I was iffy on it, but when he spoke up,
Yeah.
it was the phrase angels.
So
Speaking
then,
of angels,
yeah.
Tyler Dream and Velveteen Breeze.
What in the battle of the fucking fabric softeners?
Yeah.
This match was very good. Actually, hold on. Star rating
Oh yeah.
for the
Stores.
I will give that 4 because I love ladder matches. It might be a little inflated because of that, but I will give it 4.
I'll give it 3.5. Yeah.
A soft 4.
Yeah. Just the recklessness sort of soured me to it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, once you we watch it now, knowing that no one died or was grievously injured, it's probably a lot more enjoyable than watching it live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yes, onto the
Dream
guys
v Breeze for the North American title. Tyler Breeze comes out doing his entrance, and I got one gripe here. The fucking tricked out selfie stick was a big part of Tyler Breeze's entrance in his original NXT run, and it's gone. And I hate the fact that it's gone.
Someone probably, I bet you, just some fucking it just got thrown out of the prop room. Stage tech, like some dude's like, he's not in NXT anymore, right? We gotta 5S the units here down at the Performance Center. Full sale.
Gotta lean the process here. But
Get
anyway,
an email from Tyler next week and just be like, "Excuse me,
where's
my boy?"
So this match was good. It was a Velveteen Dream takeover match, which was there's a lot of he wrestles in a way. So like the beginning of his matches are like straight out of the 80s, where it's a lot of posing and kind of just grandstanding,
posturing,
ambiance, as he might say. And then once they like get to like the modern near falls part, it becomes a modern match. But the Velveteen Dream style is this weird mix of like 80s fucking Hogan and wrestling of today. And perhaps this is the future. Perhaps we are seeing the dawning of what will be American professional wrestling for the next 20 years. But it's unique in its time.
Yes.
Tyler Breeze did not forget how to wrestle. He worked a very good match here. And this match was very good. It did not reach the level of great that I had expected it to. I think if they had just a little more time or a better finish, it would have pushed it over the top for me. But as it stands, it was good but not great.
Yeah, and I've heard some online criticisms to the point of people are throwing out like, "Oh, Tyler Breeze isn't as good as you remember him. You just got the rose-colored glasses on for him." It's like, well, maybe. But
I will invite those people
factors
to watch NXT Takeover Fatal 4-Way or Brooklyn or any of the other early takeovers that Tyler Breeze arguably stole the show in before they come talking that shit.
Yeah. The fucking the standout moment of this match, which was all about the attitudes, it was all about the egos, so good, was fucking Dream knocked out Tyler, or had him like staggered, and then grabbed his phone and did his selfie. He got the fucking selfie with just the fucking absolutely gassed Tyler. I was like,
yeah, he's like, say cheese.
Yeah.
Say cheese.
Say cheese.
But yeah, the match,
crazy.
they hit each other with everything. Tyler Breeze finally got the beauty shot, but as Mauro Ranallo would say, or Nigel McGuinness would say, serendipitously, Velveteen Dream rolled out of the ring. He went to like go grab him. The referee's counting. And Tyler Breeze, this is one of the issues I have with the match. And like normally NXT is pretty good about not doing stuff like this. But Tyler Breeze goes into the ring and starts like begging the fucking referee to stop counting. I'm like, dude, just fucking exit the ring. It'll break the count. Like, this has been a well-established rule in the WWE lexicon for decades even. And then, of course, it led to a pseudo-distraction near fall. This match was good. They hit each other with everything. There's a lot of super kicks being thrown. Eventually, at the finish here, Velveteen Dream scooped up Tyler Breeze real quick for the Dream Valley Driver and then rushed to the corner to deliver the Purple Rainmaker for the pin. Afterwards, they exchanged a salty selfie and shook hands as a display of sportsmanship. So I guess this feud is over. Tyler Breeze is officially back in NXT. We have confirmation on that much. So where he goes from here, I don't know. I could see maybe them ending up as like an odd couple tag team at some point.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But we shall see. Overall, like I said, this match was good, not great. I think it had some pacing issues. I mean, I can understand Tyler Breeze being a little rusty for these 15-minute matches. He probably hasn't worked one of those in fucking 2 years at least. When he get called up, 2016? 3 years? Yikes. So, yeah, I think he'll get better as time goes on. And Tyler Breeze is definitely as good as you remember him. Don't listen to these naysayers.
And if nothing else, this was an absolutely, like, everything was honest, you know? It wasn't like, it's not the criticisms we have of wrestling in some of the main rosters where it just feels like, just like fucking that worst, like that fake cream frosting on a cake. It's like, it tastes like plastic.
I never had my intelligence was never insulted during this match. So there's that. I will give it a solid 3.5 stars.
Yeah, 3.5. That's number 3.5 for me. Very consistent.
Very consistent. Overall, by the way, like the real competition is not between WWE and AEW. It's between AEW and NXT. And I will say, so all you AEW lovers out there, don't accuse me of being a WWE mark, but Takeover 25 was, from a wrestling standpoint at least, significantly better than Double or Nothing. I'd say the worst match on this card would have been the second or third best match on Double or Nothing. Speaking of the worst match on this card, Shayna Baszler defeated Io Shirai by submission with the Kirifuda clutch that Io Shirai was in for about 12 million years. Civilizations rose and fell in the time that Io Shirai was stuck in this Kirifuda clutch.
Just another day in the office, and by the office, I mean locked into a submission by Shayna Baszler. That's been like the one running thread, is like that's her whole thing, which I still don't know how engaging that is. Is just the fucking millennia long submission holds that she likes to do. She
doesn't have, I don't know if she doesn't feel safe doing them or like, I guess there is the school of thought that less is more, but her moveset is limited. She's built it around her hold here. She has like two major spots that she does in every match. She does the Kirifuda clutch and she does the elbow stomp thing. Those are the two spots, and they don't relate to each other, which pisses me off. Like, if you're going to do the elbow stomp thing, use an armbar as a finish.
It has a name now. I forget what the
I didn't pay attention.
It's like the give up or something, or the no hope, or I'm so depressed.
Existence is pain.
I take Xanax every day.
Something like that.
But it's got a name now.
Yeah. So this match, it was, I don't know. It was a Shayna Baszler title defense. They're never spectacularly good, but they're solid matches. and they just kind of, you know, serve their purpose, as it were.
Yeah.
Although at this point, I'd say it's probably getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah.
They need
I
to mix
think
it up a little bit.
memorable parts of the match were the run-ins, sort of. One of Candace running in. I just remember that it happened. And then two, I guess the most memorable part for me was EO running in afterwards, which I like this shtick. I like this. This is a lot of fun to run in with the fucking giant ass. They're so tiny, but the swords are so big. And she fucking 1,000 strike anime blast Shayna into next week. I was like, yes, give us a women's no holds barred, like a fucking no disqualification match. Give us the fucking toy box match.
It seems like that's where this is going. The post-match angle, as Peter referenced here, Io Shirai snapped. She got frustrated. She's had enough. I don't think this was a heel turn. Some people have said maybe it's a heel turn. No, this is just a case where the babyface gets frustrated and
Catharsis.
Gets their comeuppance. So she beats the shit out of Shayna with a kendo stick. And then, like, she uses the kendo stick better than anyone on the roster. She probably has, like, legitimate experience in the martial art of kendo.
Oh yeah, I feel like kendo, they just like do it. It's one of those sports you do in school.
Yeah. And she motioned to Candice to toss her a chair. Candice was a little hesitant at first, but obliged, and she hit like a fucking Sabu chair-assisted moonsault on the Shayna Baszler. And reason would be leading me to believe that this is setting up a no holds barred or a no DQ match of Extreme Rules, whatever they want to call it, match between these two at the next Takeover. That would be my guess.
That'd be great. And even with Shayna's like submission based move set and this sort of the way she goes, just give her a chain. You can do a lot of stuff with a chain, unless you're Kyle O'Reilly, in which case you have no idea how string works. I remember that match where he's like, I got it. If we get it around like this, fuck it. I'll just hit him with it.
He had an idea, and I'm sure it was really cool in his head. So that match I would give a paltry 3 stars to.
Yeah, 3, light 3.
A soft J.
Soft.
Yogging, as it were. So that led to the main event. Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. The guy who rapped Adam Cole to the ring was some YouTuber who gained notoriety for remixing WWE theme songs.
Called, I believe his name was WrestleFlow.
Something like that. He rapped it out to the ring. I was not expecting this. When it happened, I texted Peter, what the fuck is this? I don't like it. Make it go away.
Some people are like, oh, you guys are all just trash because you don't like. He's got the real beats. He's got the real flow. He's awesome. I'm like, sure, man. Yep,
if you say so, I was not blown away by his performance, but my main problem was it was not like it threw everyone off, right? Because like the beats of the entrance weren't quite the same. Like when he made his entrance in New York, it was his standard entrance, and everyone knew exactly what he was going to do when. And, you know, the ovation was just deafening. Jesus fucking Christ himself wouldn't have gotten as big an ovation as Adam Cole got in New York that night.
Yeah. So it did not quite have the pop that, like, the Shinsuke Nakamura violin entrance did.
Yeah.
When that happened.
It
was sweet.
Yeah, of all the special entrances they've done, and they've done a few for NXT, not as many as they do on the main roster, but like they did the thing with, you know, Sasha coming in the Escalade at the first Takeover Brooklyn, which I remember, and it makes me feel old now because they've done 25 of these, and I know it's only 4 years ago, but it feels like that might as well be 40 years in wrestling.
Yeah, right.
So dense.
Every single match. There's so much going on.
and not Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano came out in Captain Marvel inspired garb, which my response was ew. And karma, it's a bitch because he lost. They had a fantabulous match, not quite as good as their match in New York. It just fell a little bit short. There was one particular spot that I did not enjoy where Johnny Gargano hit a reverse Frankensteiner and Adam Cole popped up and no-sold it, and Johnny Gargano's on the mat selling it, looking back over his shoulder, waiting to get hit with the last shot, and this is Bush League. You gotta tighten that up.
Yeah. Again, honest mistakes here, or honest decisions. Yeah. So the story of this match was fucking, what was it? Is it left leg or right? It was right leg.
Yeah.
The knee.
Adam Cole kicked the leg out of his leg, and worked that over for the rest of the match, and Gargano had some difficulties with that. At one point, Adam Cole, Master Strategist, duped Johnny Gargano by motioning for the Undisputed Era to come out. They never came, but it enabled Adam Cole to hit his move, as it were. Finish to this match was Adam Cole hitting the Panama Sunrise and immediately following it up with a last shot for the pin. I thought he was going to kick out. I really thought Gargano was going to kick out. I was getting pissed because it looked like it was building to another Gargano win. But when that referee's hand hit the mat for the third time, I fucking jumped up and screamed in my living room. I hugged strangers. I went out of the town to hug strangers.
You could see the expo on my forehead because I was a marker at that point. I was popping.
Everyone was popping at that point. Just the whole building came unglued. Just imagine though, as good as this crowd was, and it was a good crowd, but it was not the size or veracity of the crowd they had in New York. And I watching this celebration here, and I'm just picturing in my head the deafening roar that would have the Barclays Center would have registered on the fucking Richter scale if Adam Cole had won the NXT Championship in New York that night. But better late than never. The right guy now has the NXT title, and I guess you would think that Gargano's probably getting called up sooner rather than later here. He's done all he can do in NXT.
Yeah,
sure.
He seems kind of just, in my eyes, this sort of had faded into the background. Even as champion, he's just sort of I'm there now. Remember when I had that big thing with Tommaso? Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore.
Well, that was always going to be the thing. he chased the belt for so long. 2 years he chased this belt. And then when he finally won it, you had that big cathartic moment there. And it was it wasn't quite the capstone we had all imagined. If he had beaten Tommaso Ciampa for the belt, then yes, that would have been, the catharsis to that storyline that everyone would have wanted. It would have been a bit more emotional. But after that, it was always going to be less than. That's the problem with a guy, the underdog story here. And I think if Daniel Bryan didn't get hurt, we would have seen a similar thing with his title reign in 2014. Because when you've been chasing it that long, when you finally win it, the exaltation of the chase is gone. And we're seeing a little bit with Kofi Kingston here now, where he's still over, don't get me wrong, but it's not the same fever pitch that he was when he was chasing the belt. Because it's hard for the underdog guy to still really play the role that made him popular when they're the champion.
Right. Exactly. Yep. But now that Adam Cole, I don't know why I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable there. It's Adam Cole.
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole has the gold. And he has a thing he can do as champion, which is help the rest of his buddies get their gold, like they said they were going to do this year. They'd be like, this is going to be a year of gold. And it is to the day, it's halfway through the year. It is
July 1st is the halfway point of the year.
5 days, 5 days on.
July 1st is
July.
the 180 something day of the year.
Okay, well,
I looked this up because I wanted to know how to pace my sick days for the rest of the year.
Well, now we know that. Okay, so we're almost halfway through the year, and the whole story for the first half of the year has been Undisputed Era getting clowned on and losing all their belts.
Yeah.
So now we can have the second half, have them come back, and that's why I was saying, like Triple H, if he's gonna call Adam Cole up, no matter who else he calls up with him, which he should call them all up together.
Yes.
If he just calls Adam Cole up, he should at least wait until they do this and they all get their gold, and then they have their triumphant fucking greatest photo op promo of all time, and then he goes up and just is immediately folded into the mid card.
I'm sure if Triple H had his way, that would be the case. However, these are Vince McMahon calls. And if you already aren't convinced that Vince McMahon calls are dubious at best, I encourage everyone. It was a great interview. It was more like a therapy session, really. But I encourage everyone to go listen to the Emancipation of Jon Moxley episode of Talk is Jericho. Jon Moxley goes in on Vince McMahon and the creative process of the company for about 90 minutes.
I might have to catch that. Yeah,
it's a great interview, and the fucking start is tremendous. He's like, all right, let's get this out of the way first. I had a tremendous 8 years in that company. I achieved more than I ever thought I would. All right, and with all that positive out of the way, let's just bury this company for the next hour.
So good to have him back in good spirits.
Yeah, if you miss the Dean Ambrose that was a regular on Talking Smack, talking about how he's maiming and education and hockey players and whatever the fuck he talked about on Talking Smack.
Small packages, churros. All
the fucking goodness that he was on that
Wait, it's
show.
Upside down.
8. You'll love this episode, this podcast. He did another podcast, 2-parter with Wade Keller of the Pro Wrestling Torch. That one is a little less entertaining, but if you want to hear him talk a little bit more about some other stuff, including the Stone Cold podcast and a few other things that Jericho didn't really press him on, the Wade Keller interview is a good companion piece. So definitely check those two out. Not that these huge websites and podcasts need our plug, but they're definitely worth a listen. Just in the shower or taking a shit on your way to work, whatever. Wherever you do your business. Yes, wherever you do your business. I ain't judging. Some people, like fucking live in RVs. I'm not going to judge. All right. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. Actually, hold on. Star ratings. Only 4.
Yeah.
I will go 4.25 with the sauce on this. Which is a far cry from the 5+ sauce that the other match was.
I will put sauce on this too.
But yeah, so that was Takeover 25, a fantabulous wrestling show, super easy watch. Like, these takeovers are great. Rarely do they go over 3 hours, and when they do, the match is really fucking good, so you don't care.
Yep.
It's just super palatable. That's the main thing about NXT is it's just such a watchable show. And
exactly. Happy silver anniversary to NXT. Here's to another 25 takeovers. We'll see you at the gold line, boys.
And on that note, we will sign off. Be well, stay safe, and carry on. You
party like it's 2019.
Peace.
Peace.